implement this same strategy of innovative creativity in business, in agriculture, and all these other things, we would be unstoppable. Like Fina once said, she was still back in the Big Brother house when they were engaging in the debate on what was it about? I forgot. They were talking about Africans maintaining their cultural identity in whatever they do, whether it be technology, medicine. Remember that. So we need to come up with we need to use what we have, invest in it, and then that is the best way. Look at Rwanda, for example. That's another example. The one cow, one poor family program. Somebody else would have thought that is a stupid idea. It's mediocre because can a cow solve a generational problem? Something we've been fighting for, something we've been fighting against for centuries to be solved by just a cow. But it worked for them because they understood that as Africans we have different problems in the Western world, and different problems require different. We can use Western solutions to solve our problems. We need to be innovative, and we need to think differently, basically. So like, let's just trust ourselves and understand that new ideas can sometimes look stupid at first glance. You begin to discover its loopholes, you begin to fix it, and it becomes better and better and bigger. And that's how you come up with solutions to problems. Yeah. So I'm not a farmer. I just wanted to share that general opinion. I feel like it's also relevant to this topic. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
You're not a farmer and you have great knowledge about agriculture. Like
Thank
you just explained something really grateful.
thank you. The high
Yeah.
priest. One and only.
Okay, thank you so much, Frank. So,
Thank you.
Princess, you're next. And guys, please, it's strictly 2 minutes because we have a lot of requests, over 50 requests, and I believe everyone should be given the
Martha,
opportunity.
Martha,
Yeah.
hi Martha. Sorry for interrupting you. Other people's hands have been up, and Princess has spoken severally. So can Fina City Room and the rest speak first? Then maybe Princess can go.
Princess? Okay, well, I didn't hear Princess speak, but
Once, not several. Let me correct you. Thank you.
okay. All right. Patience.
Okay,
Can I
hello,
go?
good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Actually,
afternoon.
I'm really interested in this topic because I work with the National Youth Authority in Ghana, and one of the major focus is on agricultural development using the youth. Agriculture comes, it has a lot of branches, but from my experience, I would want to side with Fina on the animal farming. I'm also an agriculturalist, but mine is the marketing, processing and marketing of agricultural products. I have a company where I export goats, dried fish, fried fishes, as in animal products to outside Ghana. I'm in Ghana, by the way. When we talk about commercial farming, most of the time people quickly jump into the money, they'll be calculating the money they will be making when they start. No. Commercial farming comes with so many things you have to consider before you jump into. I mean, the passion for it, the capital, education, mentoring, your goals that you have to set in the future. And at this time, as in our modern world, the farmer has to think about processing and marketing at this time because the end product is very, very, very important. The consumer is very, very, very important. So assuming you are into animal farming and you don't think about how hygienically the end product, let's say goat, is going to be, you should at least have a small slaughterhouse where you can even kill, press and package for supermarkets. So this modern Ghana, most of the farmers are thinking about the youth that we work with. We train them on the end product and marketing as well. Because if you think about only the local market, you'll be limited. You will be
Yeah.
limited. Yes. So this time around, the end product, the marketing and processing is very, very important. Me, I export dry fishes. I find myself in Akosomo, where the Volta River is. That is where the Ghana Dam is. So fish is in abundance. The youth, we have a local a small village where they harvest a particular fish. We call it 1,000. It goes all around Ghana, but the accessibility to those places is a problem. And in agriculture, accessibility is becoming a problem because it is causing a lot of food wastage, especially our roads. Our roads, when it is in season, you see a lot of sport product as in crops, oranges, plantains, and maize, and those things,
Tomato.
because they can't even transport it from the villages to the city, the urban areas where consumption is very, very high. So this time accessibility should also be considered when you are into commercial farming, because at the end of the day you can produce and lose a lot, which even the cost of production cannot even the wastage cannot even, it's about 80% of your production cost, which means you are going to lose and you will lose interest in it. So most of the time, if you find yourself in such areas and you can produce it or process it into something else which will not go waste, no matter the distance it covers to the urban cities, it is very, very important. And now in Africa, we have the seasons. Because of the seasons, at a point in time you wouldn't get a particular food or crop to buy. The government is also introducing, I think we should also consider in greenhouse farming. The greenhouse farming, you can introduce the irrigation systems and all that, but that one is expensive. That is where the government comes in. But as you are starting your own production or animal farm or catfish farming or goat farming, I don't think you need a government. You can start small. You can start from, somebody was saying, asking before the space that, okay, so if my tomatoes or pepper isn't ready, what would I do? There are other things you can do aside that, which will be fetching you small income before that product, depending on what you want to do. That's why I'm saying you should seek mentoring and you learn on. If you seek mentoring, you can still survive before your whatever you are going to should actually mature for you to harvest. That is it. So when you are into commercial farming, you should consider mentoring, your capital, your location, and then your accessibility so that you can open your market. And also think about the end product, as in whatever you are producing, how you can process it to get or to expand your market beyond wherever you are. Me, I export dry fish outside. And Ghana, it's not only catfish that we eat. We have a lot of dry fishes that I'm sure Nigerians too have, because it's a bit similar. Dry snail, I export dry snails. We do fried snails. We package them, we process them, we package them for both Ghana and outside. So when you are doing farming, please consider the processing and then the end product, the end consumer, so that your market will be bigger. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patience.
Thank you very much.
Raj.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, from Nigeria, anyways. Good afternoon,
Good
and
afternoon.
good, yeah, and good whatever time you are, anywhere you are. I guess one or two of my mutuals were on this space, so I saw agriculture, and it's a topic I'm very interested in. In fact, when I joined, I thought it was a ladies' world. I was a bit scared, not until I saw this the penultimate guy that spoke. So it made me relax. But yeah, this is a very good one where people can come and share ideas, particularly about the strength of Africa, which is in agriculture. I would like to come in from the angle of the government role, the policies, and the administration that can create a conducive environment for agriculture. One big problem, in fact, let me start this way. One of the problems the world is facing now, as in the global economic ish the world is in now, is as a result of the Russian-Ukraine war. And the Russia and Ukraine are the largest producers of wheat. And we know wheat serves as raw materials to variety of uh, finished products consumed globally. So now imagine when that raw material is in short supply, plus Russia, who is the highest producer of gas, for industries. So now put the two together, those primary raw materials, when they are in short supply, then it transfers to the industries, and then the production increases, the prices of the products increases, it also affects all other value chain, and then economic hula balloon. So that tells you the position of primary production in global economy, by extension agriculture. Now, having said that, there is a statistic by MBS in Nigeria now that about 139 million in poverty. I have my reservations for that stats because the yardstick used was just 60,000 people. So what is the ratio of 60,000 in 1 million? And what is the ratio of even 1 million in 250 million? So that tells you, the uncertainty or even the confidence level of such stats. However, that's a story for another day. But the fact is, we have a lot of poor people in Nigeria and in Africa by extension. Now, agriculture is one of the biggest way that we can use to solve this, as a lot of people have alluded here. Agriculture is that has that broad base to take in a lot of people. Now, where I want to go is the value chain. The lady that spoke last talked about products as against produce. I think the problem Africa has had over time was that we have so much paid attention to produce as against product. Now imagine somebody coming into Nigeria to take a sheep of cocoa, and let's say, for instance, let's say, okay, maybe for instance 1 kg of cocoa, let's say $5. Then he takes it to Europe, they process it into chocolate and takes groundnut too, and then it comes back to Nigeria and is sold for $50, for instance. I'm just giving you an instance. So now just look at the margin. Now, because we have exported produce instead of finished product, look at how much the economy has lost. So that is, so we have to start looking at finished products as against produce. And now that will bring us to, apart from the primary, the cultivation and rearing of animals, it will also bring us to the manufacturing and processing of those produces. Like the madam that talked about exporting dry fish, it would have also been, probably better. It's a good thing. Maybe if those fishes were probably canned and preserved like sardine and then exported, then the shelf life is increased, the market value too is, these are the things the Europeans use to, package themselves and then come rip us off. Now, this cannot happen at the individual level or even group level or even just private sector level. There has to be deliberate government intervention in this matter. Yes, the last 2-3 speakers spoke about this. The government have to come in. What we were doing before, let me take Nigeria as a case study. In Nigeria before, we were importing majority of what we eat. In fact, there was a time we had boom and we were even subsidizing it. So Nigerians thought that food were cheap, not knowing that government was subsidizing it, which was wrong. What should have been done was to use that money that is being used to subsidize those goods to put in place infrastructure that will complement agriculture. Like the lady in Ghana said, effective rail system, good road networks. Imagine you can farm tomato, and then transport it to the cold room in wagons on rail. from the north down south. So a lot of all those perishables will be saved. Also, imagine there are companies that comes up
It's
with,
not good.
okay, all the tomatoes that are
Very
already
good.
perishing, let's grind it into
It's not good.
paste, package it, and then put it in the supermarket. So these are the roles. That's one. Two, the other role of government is also to create policies that will be labor driven as against capital driven. For instance, a particular person can be a billionaire and come in now and say, okay, I want to buy 10,000 hectares of land to grow sugarcane so that I can produce sugar. I don't think that will work for a country where the population is larger than the resources. Rather, we should have a situation
If you
where
go up, but they
those who
type the
plant
name within
sugarcane,
common.
sorry, I'm getting an, is anybody speaking? Okay,
Please
so,
go ahead.
okay. So imagine we now have pockets of people who grow sugarcane across neighborhoods, across states, across local government area, forming groups. Then that billionaire comes in and say, okay,
Don't chop over feeding.
Hello, can Fina hear us?
Yeah, sorry, I think she
hello.
mistakenly muted everybody. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I was saying that another thing where we have the problem in agriculture in Africa, and I'm using Nigeria as a case study now, is like we've seen
I
situations
think
where
they are near
somebody,
you. They hear them.
a billionaire comes into the sector and procures.
Fina, can you hear us? I think Fina is having network issues.
Can she hear us, please? Can you hear me?
I'm not sure. Let Mr. Raj continue with what he's saying. Since when she cannot okay, she come.
Mr. Raj, please continue.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I can
You're
hear
welcome.
you.
Yeah, okay. So I was making a point that part of the solutions that we need to start, the policies that government needs to put in place are policies that favor a labor-driven economy as against the capital-driven economy. What am I saying? I could be a billionaire, come into Nigeria and buy 10,000 hectares of land for the production of sugarcane. I will employ people. Let's say I employ about 10,000 people. Say 5,000 do the farming, 3,000 in the logistics, another 2,000 in the processing and manufacturing, which is good. However, such is not sustainable for a country like Nigeria and most of Africa, whose population is far wider than the resources available. So rather, I as a billionaire, government should create such policy that when somebody like that comes in, what you do is ask around those who farm sugarcane in their individual selves. They could come together as different corporates, different groups, then give incentives, like agric extension, improve seedling, and credit loan and mechanical support. Then those in logistics too have groups. Okay, you people help me ship it down here, ship it down there. Then the groups too, manufacturing groups, so that at the end of the day, instead of just exporting, employing just 10,000 people, that value chain would have created 100,000, and mop up 100,000 more people as against the capital driven model. So those are parts of the solutions that should. So another thing that we need to understand now I'm taking Nigeria as a case study, is that agriculture can never and would never be maximized or optimized unless and until the local governments become fully autonomous and fully functional. You can't sit in Abuja and see the peculiarity of Taraba or Imo. You can't sit in Abuja and know the troubles of Benue or Lagos. So the